What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist, and today we're back holding mics as we answer your question in another tingly installment of For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the question stuff by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get to those questions first. I feel like we're farther away from the camera than normal. It feels weird. This question comes from Nico Wilder, or Wilder, probably Wilder. Are there battle boats, submarines, carriers, etc. in 40K? There is, obviously, right? There are water worlds or water planets within the 40K galaxy. Check out our 40 facts on what it's like to live on a water world. It's pretty interesting.
What's the difference between a world and a planet?
Well, because when I say water world, I think of the movie. So I wanted to specify that it's a whole planet where it's nothing but water, and usually they have what are those things called? Like a rig. That's it's artificial land.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? The miners use it. Mm-hmm. Not the miners, but the miners.
Right.
The oil miners. Whatever that is. But yeah, so as long as there's those types of planets, there has to be boats and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But the real question is, why don't we see that on the tabletop? And that's because, that's boring.
Yeah. Naval warfare is usually in terms of fighting in space or in the skies. Yeah. Yeah, there's really no fighting under the sea, because usually everything would be better down where it's wetter, but not for 40K.
No. And it's really funny, too, because within the lore of most of the races, it gives you a reason. Like, if they were to fight in the water, they wouldn't really float. Like, Space Marines could actually breathe underwater. Yeah. And it is said in the lore that they just walk on the bottom of the sea. So it's so it's just a regular table. Mm-hmm.
Technically, you could say, our next 40K 9th edition battle report took place underwater.
Yep.
Nothing changes.
Yeah, everything's the same. Yeah. The closest thing that I've seen is, some people do kit bash orc stuff. So they'll turn a boat-looking thing into, or they'll turn the battle wagon into a boat-looking thing. Mm-hmm. There's a guy, Ian Wyatt, that has done this really badass-looking orc conversion of just a giant orc boat.
And that fits with the orc pirates. What Badrook?
Badrook, yep. Mm-hmm. The captain for the freebooters.
The freebooters, there you go.
Or booters, I don't know. But yeah, so I would love to see some terrain where there is water, but special rules that would maybe the water is lava or something like that. Yeah. But then just make a lava world.
Yeah, but definitely the orcs are usually the ones that have the most water theme to them. Mm-hmm. Because even the Tau, which have a bunch of units named after devilfish, the manta, all these aquatic creatures, they don't really deal with water.
No, their vehicles are skimmers, which is funny. Which is another way that they get through that. So if you were fighting in the ocean,
you skim right over.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The Dark Eldar do have boat-looking things, but again, they're skimmers, so they just skim above the.
They sail the sea of stars, not the sea of waves.
Because what is that called? The transport, the main transport for the Dark Eldar?
Vipers? I don't know if that's the main one, but I know that's one of them.
Yeah, they look kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. They got pointy bits.
Yeah. If you guys were to get an aquatic unit, what would you guys like for each specific army? I think that would be kind of interesting to hear from you guys. Mm-hmm. Let us know.
Although in Age of Sigmar, there's an army that's specifically underwater. The Ideneth Deepkin, which are water elves. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they ride eels and manta rays.
There's a dude casting spells with a octopus by his side.
Speaking about Steve Irwin, so I was watching the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had that magician. What's his name?
David Blaine.
And he was saying that the reason the crocodile hunter died is because he pulled the thing out. If he would have just left it in, he would have survived, because there was another person a couple days later that had the same situation, but he survived because they didn't pull it out. So it's just kind of sad. It's we could have had the crocodile hunter right now.
Yeah, but his kids are, pushing his legacy along.
Yeah, the girl's pregnant, right?
Yeah, she's married already, and she's gonna have a kid. A little explorer.
Yep.
But yeah, I used to watch David Blaine nonstop back when I was younger.
I don't think the only one that I remember is like he put his hand down on the pavement and then he spun around. And then
I think that's just called like dancing.
No. Like his hand was stationary.
Oh.
And then you just hear a pop, and like I think what he did is he just dislocated his arm or his whatever joint it would have been, because like his stuff is practical, like it's magic, but like it's really him getting hurt
or not breathing for like days.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Yeah, that dude's like worshiping chaos.
He is, which we should all do.
Right, because then we could dislocate our joints and breathe.
And that's really all we want to do. It's like, fuck this battle report. Check this out.
Dang, like you can be the best Jabberwocky ever.
Yeah. Next question.
Jabberwockies.
This question comes from James Russell. Russell. You probably answered this. How do you think the Siege of Terra would have turned out if Dorn would have died, or not have died? Do you think he would have some input on the Codex and all? Also, I wish that GW would work him back into the fold like he was dragged into the warp and they cut his hand off. So...
I don't think it's official that he's dead. He's just missing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, he didn't die during the Siege of Terra.
No, this was after.
Yeah. So, you're thinking of Sanguinius. Sanguinius is the one that died. Dorn,
quote unquote, died.
Oh yeah,
because they go back and forth.
That's true. Yeah. So Dorn actually went on and he took his Imperial Fist against the Iron Warriors in that famous battle. What is it called?
Battle of the Iron Cage, or just the Cage?
Yeah, which is pretty grueling. Mm-hmm. He died on his ship.
Right. It was a battle. Well, didn't he go into a Chaos battle barge and fought against demons and stuff? And they opened up a portal, and it's rumored that he went into the portal and his hand was the last thing that got cut off.
Yeah, that's what I want. I want Dorn to come back, not Sanguinius.
With like a demon arm to replace the one he lost.
Or a robot hand, and then the Iron Hands worship him. Next question.
This one's by Emmanuel Morris. Can you do the Ordo Sicarius? They investigate and keep the Officio Assassinorum in check. Yeah.
I'm reading the Beast Arises. I'm listening to the Beast Arises, and it's really interesting because the Officio Assassinorum basically acted as the Inquisition before the Inquisition became the Inquisition, because you have to remember. You have to remember that the Inquisition is what it is today because of the Goch Van Dyer, the Reign of Fire, and Thor. So yeah, it's just cool to hear like that the Officio Assassinorum used to be one of the High Lords, and now like they were pushed back because the Inquisition stepped up to take their place.
Yeah.
But they're still separate organizations and they're powerful, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's just crazy for me to think that like the Inquisition has like members cunning enough and strong enough to keep assassins in check.
Yeah.
I feel like that would mostly end up not being good for just like, because they're assassins, like that's what they're created for.
Yeah, to assassinate.
Mm-hmm. But hey, it's 40K.
It is. Next question.
This one is by Panda Say 25. Could the Custodians kill all the Primarchs like they did the Thunder Warriors? And if not, how would the Emperor go about doing that? So yeah, the Emperor originally was just going to discard the Space Marines like they discarded the Thunder Warriors, because these Marines, they're just used as a tool to help humanity rise. Yep. And once they're on that field that the Emperor wanted them to be, then yeah, I think the Custodians would definitely start killing off Space Marines. And the Primarchs, I feel like that's a whole different thing. But yeah, I still think like a squad of Custodians can take down a Primarch. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's doable. Or maybe the Emperor like would have done it himself, kind of like Thanos. Like
snaps his finger.
Yeah, and all the Primarchs just turn to dust.
This next question comes from the Seeker. Does Gork and Mork have demons like the other gods? No, he does not. They do not. Yeah. They have weird boys.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what about like the Tuska Demon Killer? But that's different though.
Yeah, that's just an orc trapped by corn. Next question.
Yeah, it is corn, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Dang, Seeker, you've spammed and made it through to the comments.
Yeah. This one comes from Emmanuel Morris. Nope, you just read that. The Lucky Dragon asks, could the Emperor of Mankind be reincarnated due to his soul being part of the shamans of old? If he does, can he gain his memories and psychic powers?
One can only hope. Just think about what the Emperor is doing currently. He is pretty much like 90% dead on the throne, basically in a state of perpetual living and death while trying to keep the Astronomicon open and keeping chaos at bay. That's a lot. So his soul is going through tons of stress, tons of like psychic might to just keep what he's doing, going ever for a long time. And he's done it for like, 10,000 years?
Yeah.
So if he does reincarnate or do anything like that, he has to stop doing what he's doing in order to allow his soul to pretty much recharge. And I think if that does happen, then I think the negatives will far outshine the positives. Like, yeah, you'll get the Emperor coming back, but how long would that take? And what's that going to cause humanity once they lose the Astronomicon and like chaos is strengthened by it and just demons rush into Terra? Like that's not good.
It's a good point too, because during the Great Crusade there's just war. Mm-hmm. So if the Emperor does come back, he's just going to bring war. But it's like, well, we're already having war.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pointless. It's not pointless, but yes, the negatives outweigh the positives.
Right. Or maybe the humanity is just in such a shitty situation that what's more negative to it.
Yeah. This next question comes from Ali Parada. Happy to see my fave YouTube power couple as great as café con leche. So my question is, who is the café and who is the leche?
Well, I'm lactose intolerant, so I think that kind of answers your question.
But I am also lactose intolerant.
So we're all the leche.
Yep.
Because it's our weakness, and that's what we're made out of.
We're made out of our own weaknesses.
Mm-hmm. Because we're only as strong as our weakness. Right? Is that how the saying goes?
I think it goes, you are only as strong as the weakest person in your vicinity. Mm. So that's why I only surround myself with swollenness.
Arnold with a beanie?
Yeah.
This one's by Adonis H. Auxilio. That is a strong name. Adonis?
Adonis.
Considering the ignorance of the Imperium, why don't the Adeptus Mechanicus just take xenoweapons, give them a new color, put a skull on it, put made by the Imperium, and start distributing them amongst the army?
They do.
Yeah. It's called...
New technology. STC technology.
STCs, yeah. The Death Watch, they do this. Mm-hmm. They wield Necron phase weapons, and they just said, it's really old human tech.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. It's not as widespread because obviously eventually somebody's going to catch on, like, we've been fighting the Necrons for, 300 years, and it's like, why are our blades the same as theirs?
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell the Inquisition.
Yep, don't. Next question.
This one's by Andrew Krostik. If Karn is Khorne's chosen, what does he possibly have to do to be elevated to become a demon prince? And since Agron is hot garbage, will Karn be stronger than him when he ascends? Since his boons should be better or stronger than what Angron got. I don't think Karn will ever become a demon prince because it's going to, I guess game-wise, it's going to tip the balance in Khorne's favor. Because that would mean every other Chaos Alliance Space Marine chapter would have to have another named demon prince. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Slaanesh doesn't even have Fulgrim yet.
Yeah.
So it's like we still got to wait for that. Magnus is out. Mortarian's out. So that's why. But lore-wise, it's probably because Karn's already doing enough as a human, or as a Chaos Space Marine. And to elevate him, it might belittle his craziness. I don't know.
Yeah. This next question comes from Backwards R and a bunch of other Russian letters. Is that really the Sound Alchemist or an imposter? Blink twice for real, thrice for fake.
How many times have I blinked? That's my answer to you.
Thanks for that question.
Tom Whitlow. By the order of His Holy Majesty, the God Emperor of Mankind, which minor order of the Inquisition would you likely join?
Definitely Ordo Cronus. I said that last time.
Yeah. I'd have to agree. Because, like... Well, no. I think the Ordo... what's the Xenos one called? Xenos. Yeah. It would be pretty cool because you get to see like the awesome environments of like xenoplanets, the different cultures and races throughout the Imperium before you kill them, obviously, but you still get to see that and enjoy it.
Yeah, I think it is a requirement when you sign up for the Ordo Xenos to be xenophobic. Mm-hmm. They're like, you have to hate these people in order to be with these people.
Or maybe that's all just a ruse so I can get into like a Tau Sept and like go MIA and live as a Tau citizen.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Mm-hmm. And then exterminatus the planet.
Yeah. After you're done with all the female Earthcast people. Women.
People. Women. Things.
Yeah.
And anything. AI.
That would be fun.
Groot, Vespid.
It's like that one episode of Rick and Morty where Morty fucks the robot.
That's all the episodes of Rick and Morty.
That's true. This is a question from Shinku Kirito Ishika. What if the Imperium is able to make clone troopers and they're able to have the tech of the Kaminoans? And since they're genetically altered, can capable clones still be able to become Astartes aspirants and neophytes? Or if not, they can be another Astra Militarum regiment and a Tempestus Scion unit. Yeah, that can happen.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. Although, I don't know if they could become an Astartes.
Yeah,
because it's like they're a clone of a
successful space marine?
Yeah. Okay, I would allow it, but there'd have to be some kind of like gene seed deficiency to kind of mitigate this. Because that you could easily just reproduce thousands of Space Marine chapters that way.
Well, you're still limited to the gene seed, though.
Still, right. But at the same time, it's like they don't really need to recruit now. They just have clones to pull from.
Yeah, but they still have to go through the indoctrination process, and I think it would be interesting because then it's the same situation that the Space Marines are in right now, or they were in before the Indomitus Crusade, or the Ultima Founding, which is that clones deteriorate.
Yeah.
Because that's what's happening to the gene seed. The gene seed is deteriorating. So the flaw would be that, like, yeah, sure, the first Space Marines are really awesome because they're clones of like a really good guy or whoever was chosen. But like towards the end, or as time goes on, those clones are deficient, and then they have deficient gene seed. So then it's just like, oh, you have a bunch of
mutated, like almost like what happened with the Raven Guard.
Oh, the Raven Guard. Yeah. So, but that would be cool. And it's already happening with the Death Corps of Krieg, as far as like the Imperial Guard. The Death Corps of Krieg is just basically cloning and doing vat babies and stuff like that.
That's true.
So, it's happening.
It is, and it's sad. I shed a gangsta tear.
Last question.
Steve Otten, does the Emperor know that the Imperial truth is dead and it's being replaced by the ecclesiarchy and worship of him? What are his thoughts about this?
Yes, and I think he understands.
Whoa, are you speaking for the Emperor?
Yep.
Oh, we got another Goj Van Dyer here.
I am both the head of the church and the head of the military.
All you need is one more head to be an Alpha Legionnaire.
Oh, yeah. But yeah, I think the Emperor knows because like he's still like aware.
Yeah. And I think he's okay with it because, I mean, look at the Sisters of Battle. They pray to him and he's like, all right, you ain't turning into dust today.
And get both Gilliman and what's the head of the Sisters of Battle? What was her name? Dominica or something?
Yeah, Alicia Dominica.
Yeah, they both had a conversation with the Emperor that actually went to the Golden Throne, and they both came out like with an understanding of like, okay, yeah, we need the ecclesiarchy.
Well, I think it's like we need the ecclesiarchy because it helps humanity not, freak out.
Yeah, right. Yes. So, I think he's cool with it.
Yeah.
If it's working, what's the word?
If it ain't busted, don't fix it.
There you go. Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah. As always, I'm not going to blink. And
Gershwin.
We're out of here.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation. I knew I never had that much to lose.